Hi, guys and ladies. Today we are talking about money and how much money I got from my 3 divorces. It seems to be something that people comment on and think about. And, it was really rough after each one of those divorces for me. But money is not the thing that is first on my mind when I think back in that history. My first divorce I got when I was 32. So what is that? 30 years ago? Over 30 years ago? I'm not thinking about the money, especially when I'm dating now. So, some of you have commented on my 3 divorces and I must be rolling in money because of them. Not true. The first divorce was to a cowboy who had a horse hoarding problem. When I left him, he had about 30 horses, and he's never had less than 30, and sometimes gone up to as many as 50. Now, why anybody in this day and age would need 50 horses, I have no idea, especially when not a single one is saddle broke. He's too old to do that anymore. And they're very gentle because he plays with them from the time that they're born onward. But just as my son said to me a couple days ago, he's had these horses his whole life and all he's done is feed them. Horses just sit there. So he was a horse trainer for his business, and he did trade horses, and he has a great eye for conformation, and he knows pedigree like nobody's business. So he does pretty well on trading horses, but he also likes to hoard them, which means a lot of the grocery money goes into hay. So when I left him, I got a horse. I left with a horse. The same horse that I've told you about before. The same horse that was the reason that I knew he was the one. It was that Appaloosa. He gave me a horse that looked exactly like the melamine horse that was on my shelf as a child. That's the horse I got when I left the marriage. I was lucky to get that one horse. And as soon as I got it, I sold it for $1,000 just because I wanted to get rid of it. I didn't have any place to put it. I didn't have any hay to feed him. So I walked away with $1,000 from that marriage with 2 children under 5. That doesn't go very far. The next marriage to the European, that was a very amicable marriage, and as I told you before, we only got married because the attorney's advice in the process of going for more child custody, his advice to us was that it would look better if you were married. So we went to Las Vegas and got married. And as soon as we got all that legal stuff done, we got divorced. Just because it was a step in a process that had nothing to do with our relationship. I mean, it kind of did in the big scheme of things, but it was just something to check off the list to go to court. Once court happened, take it off the list, we're done. We came into the marriage with separate assets and separate money, and we left the marriage with the same separate assets and separate money. He didn't get any money from me. I didn't get any money from him. Break even. Third marriage, the one to the con man. It took me $20,000 in legal fees to get away from him, just to get him out of my life. And that was after, $10,000 of legal fines and some time in jail and some probationary time, which all adds up to more money. So it probably cost her $50,000 to get out of that marriage. And I left with less than I came in with. I left with no money. He was required by law to give me all the things that were still left in his house when he changed the locks on the door the day I told him I was divorcing him. I never got most of that back. More sentimental than monetary value in most of it, but I walked away with big debt. Oh, I sold my car during the time we were married to pay off his credit card debt. So I walked away from the marriage without a car. I was working for him, so I walked away without a job. And we were living in a home that belonged to him and his ex-wife. I didn't know that last part about the ex-wife until after the divorce. So I didn't have a home. So I was starting from scratch with $20,000 that in legal fees. I've heard of women that make out like bandits in divorces. I don't think anybody wins in a divorce, no matter how much money you get, no matter how many things you get out of it. Nobody wins. Everyone is a loser. The husband's a loser, the wife's a loser, and the kids are a loser. And any pets, they're losers too. Because now you have to split everything. Who wins? But, some of you guys talk about it like, oh, the woman is just in it for the money and she's going to take all my money and run. Maybe you were in a marriage before that it was more equitable to give her more money. Maybe there were kids that needed to be taken care of. Maybe she wasn't able to work and make money like you did. Maybe she depended on you for her health insurance. There's so many additional costs that when you're the man out making the money and bringing it home and you see the wife sitting at home all the time, you think maybe, why does she deserve all this? Do you want to know the real bottom line of why she deserves it? Really? This is the truth. The laws have not been updated to reflect our new society. Back in the day, the woman stayed home and she did take care of the kids and she didn't work outside of the home. And she was responsible for cooking everything from scratch and doing laundry and cleaning and getting the kids to school and back. Back in the day, that was her responsibility. And back in the day, there were laws written about divorces and for divorces that protected that woman who wasn't able to go out and have a career and a living like you did. Those laws just haven't been updated. That's it. Now, some women take advantage of them, of course. Some men take advantage of them, of course. When I was young, it was 1965, and my aunt wanted to get divorced from her husband, who would regularly get drunk and bring in a gun and shoot up their house or terrorize her in some other way. She wanted a divorce. We lived in Pennsylvania, and did you know in that time in Pennsylvania, women were still property of men? Now that law has been updated, but probably not near as much as us women would like to believe or even see. But those divorce days are all done for me now. Now I'm living alone, I'm happy with myself, I'm happy with my life. I want to find a partner who's happy with themselves and happy with their life to just go and have fun and play with. If we got serious and decided to marry or live together, I'm not sure there would have to be any kind of exchange of money. Now, other women look at that differently. There are women out there looking for transactional relationships, which, you give me something and I give you something back, okay? You fix my door, I'll cook dinner for you. Or I'll fix the door and you cook dinner for me. Transactional, okay? Transactional. I will be company for you on a trip, but you have to pay for the trip. Transactional. I don't want a transactional relationship. I want a genuine relationship based on care, mutual respect, mutual desire to give to my partner and to support my partner. Does that mean I'm going to clean out my bank account for my partner? No. My partner should, at this point in their life, they may not be flush, but they should be in control of their finances enough that they can function independently of me. And I am independent enough that I can function independent of them. Now, if you want to share, if I want to share, that's different. But you men out there that are saying, oh, I'm not going to get married, or I'm not going to get involved with women, or I'm not going to date because they're just going to take all my money, you're cutting yourself off from potentially joy for the rest of your years. Maybe you have a lot of money to protect. Then protect it. Don't bring it into the relationship. I was on a date recently where this man we met for dinner, we started talking, and he started listing off all his assets. He was listing off, he had a boat here, he had 2 or 3 cars here, he had a pool table in storage, he had other things in storage, he had 2 houses, maybe 3, I don't remember. He had oodles of stuff and money. You could tell. He had plenty of money. He just kept bragging about it. And then he kind of paused in the middle of his conversation and said, I am not interested in being a sugar daddy, if that's what you're looking for. I'm not the one that brought up the money. You're the one that's spewing it out at me. So if you're not interested in being a sugar daddy, why are you telling me about all this stuff? I'm not saying that he should be a sugar daddy. I'm not saying that I want a sugar daddy. I'm not interested. In fact, it's kind of a turnoff, because when a man leads with his money, it's kind of saying, this is my position in the relationship according to my financial situation. Well, when it gets down to brass tacks, your financial situation has nothing to do with the way I feel about you as a person. I know some women are looking for a lottery ticket in dating men. Good for them. I hope they find it. And I hope that there's men out there that just want somebody around enough that if they find the value in a woman, they are willing to share that kind of wealth. But for this man to just tell me, I'm not interested in being a sugar daddy and I have all these things, well, I don't. So what are we going to do? Where are we going to meet for common ground? Those things are not as valuable to me as they are to you. I've had times of plenty and I've had times of nothing. And either way, I've found joy and gifts and surprises and money when I've needed it in every season of my life. This is kind of a rant because I just think that just like those laws, our attitudes towards money are outdated too. When you're dating over 50, the women that you're dating have already an established way of life. They have an established lifestyle. They have an established means of maintaining that lifestyle. And at this point in our life, your financial statement doesn't matter like it did when we were in our 20s and 30s. We were interested in having a nice home, having family, having cars, all the things that require an investment. We are not at the same point in our life anymore. We don't need that investment. So when it comes to money, we just need to recognize our differences. And some of you men that are afraid of women taking that money or getting their hands on it in some way just because you go out and have a lovely dinner with them is kind of crazy. It's a strange way of thinking when you think about it. That's another reason why it's really great to start out making friends. Just practice being around people and making friends with as many women as you can, so you get comfortable with the idea that they're not all chasing your wallet. Some of them would like to get a little further than your back pocket. Did you ever think about that? Anyway, I'm just hoping that maybe you will take one moment and think about your relationship with money. How have you used it in your relationships in the past? Is it your form of identity? Maybe that's the problem and not actually the woman chasing after it. Maybe you give it more value than the women that you're interested in. Just think about it. The laws are outdated. Our attitude towards it are outdated. Our age for making it a priority in our mate selection is outdated. Time to get with the times, isn't it? Money. Money, 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 money. I didn't get any in any of my divorces. I hope you have lots. I hope that you have a way to keep it safe and secure. You know, there are people out there that will take it from you if you let them. There are also people out there that are not interested in it and really would probably enjoy your company. Thanks for giving me your time and attention today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.